Since the death of Pope Francis on Easter Monday, there is a big question on the minds of Catholics all over the world. Who will be the next Pope? How is the new Pope chosen or elected? Now, this video is going to answer these questions in full details, so pay close attention. When the current Pope dies or resigns, the Catholic Church experiences what is called the papal vacancy. In Latin, sede vacante, meaning the seat being vacant. That is to say, the seat of the Pope is vacant. Then comes the role of the Camerlengo. But then, who is the Camerlengo? The Camerlengo, also known as the Chamberlain, is a cardinal appointed by the Pope to administer the property and revenues of the Holy See. Now, his roles are these during the papal transition. The role of the Camerlengo is that he is the one who verifies the Pope's death and oversees the destruction of the Fisherman's ring. So when the Pope dies, it is the Camerlengo that announces that the Pope is dead, and then he destroys the Fisherman's ring. Meaning, when the Pope dies, the Fisherman's ring which the Pope wears is destroyed or broken as a symbol of the end of the Pope's authority. The Camerlengo manages the Vatican during the sede vacante, which is the time between the popes when the seat of the Pope remains vacant. However, the Camerlengo cannot make decisions reserved for the Pope. His power is strictly administrative based. The current Camerlengo as of 2024 is Cardinal Kevin Farrell. Then the next phase is the College of Cardinals. But who are the College of Cardinals? The College of Cardinals is the body of all cardinals in the Catholic Church. They are usually bishops chosen by the Pope from around the world. While they assist the Pope during his life and in his office, their most important duty is electing his successor. Now, the diversity of the nationality of the College of Cardinals shows the global nature of the Catholic Church worldwide. Their role as cardinals during a papal election is both spiritual and practical. The College of Cardinals, their mission is that they seek divine guidance through prayer and discussion, then vote to elect the next Pope. Now, there is something very, very important for us to remember. Only cardinals under 80 years of age can vote in the conclave, and over 100 cardinals from around the world gather in Rome for the election of the Pope. Then the conclave begins. Now, the word conclave comes from Latin conclave, meaning with a key. So conclave refers to the secrecy and isolation of the cardinals during the election. In practice, cardinals are locked inside Vatican City, especially the Sistine Chapel, during the voting process, meaning that there are no phones allowed, emails, and they are not to make any contact at all with the outside world. The cardinals take an oath of secrecy, and breaking it will result in automatic excommunication of the cardinal. And the ballots are handwritten and cast in secret confidentiality, meaning that they are not to openly tell whom they are voting for. If you paid attention, you will notice that I made mention of Sistine Chapel. But what exactly is the Sistine Chapel? The Sistine Chapel is a sacred chapel in the Apostolic Palace in the Vatican City. We can say simply that it is a sacred place that is used for papal ceremonies and, most importantly, the papal conclave. So the Sistine Chapel is usually sealed and has a solemn atmosphere, which reminds the cardinals that they are making a decision before God. The next phase of the selection of the Pope is the commencement of the voting rounds and its requirements. Now, there are usually up to 4 rounds of voting per day, 2 in the morning and 2 in the afternoon. A 2/3 majority is needed for a new Pope to emerge, which is to say, if no one receives the required majority after each round, Ballots are burned with chemicals to produce a black smoke termed fumata nera, which signifies no pope. However, when a person eventually gets a 2/3 of the votes, the ballots are burned with different chemicals to produce a white smoke, meaning fumata bianca, which bells are rung to confirm that a new pope is elected. Now, a key question to ask is this: must there be 4 rounds of voting per day? And the answer is yes, but only if no pope is elected early. Now, I'm giving you a breakdown of how the voting works. Each day can have up to 4 rounds of voting, 2 in the morning and 2 in the afternoon, as I said earlier. If a cardinal receives 2/3 of the votes in any round, the election is over and done with immediately. So yes, a pope can be elected in the very first voting round. The voting process continues until someone receives a 2/3 majority. So if the voting drags on too long, reforms allow for a simple majority after many rounds, but this is usually rare. Another key thing to note is this: are there official or selected candidates or number of persons for people to choose from who are to be elected or voted for? And the answer is usually no. There is no formal list of candidates, but many cardinals are considered papabili, a term meaning pope able or those likely to be elected. Instead, each cardinal writes down the name of any eligible male, even a layman, yes, they believe is fit for papacy. Though in practice, those who are usually elected as pope is usually one of the college of cardinals that are present during the conclave. After the emerge of the new pope through the white smoke, then follows his acceptance and new name. Once elected, the chosen cardinal is asked, "Do you accept your canonical election as Supreme Pontiff?" If the person says yes, he is asked, "By what name shall you be called?" He then chooses a papal name. But why does the new pope have to choose a papal name or a new name? Now, when elected, the new pope chooses a papal name to symbolize the mission and tone of his papacy. Pope Francis, may he so rest in peace, chose his name after Saint Francis of Assisi, reflecting humility and care for the pope. Pope John Paul II honored his predecessor, John Paul I, symbolizing his continuity. So a new pope will choose a new name to signify the mission and tone of his papacy. So the papal name sends a message to the world about the values and inspiration behind his leadership. What follows next in the selection of the new pope is the announcement of the new pope. Now, after choosing a papal name, the senior cardinal deacon announces "Habemus Papam" to the crowd, which means we have a new pope. But who is the senior cardinal deacon? The senior cardinal deacon is the longest serving cardinal deacon among the college. His important role is this: after the pope accepts his election, the senior cardinal deacon steps out onto the balcony of St. Peter's Basilica and announces to the crowd, "Habemus Papam," we have a new pope. The senior cardinal deacon then introduces the pope first by his birth name and then the chosen papal name. The current cardinal deacon as of 2025 is Dominic Joseph Mambati. The new pope appears on the central balcony of St. Peter's Basilica and gives his first apostolic blessing. He gives his first apostolic blessing, Orbi et Orbi, which is to the city and to the world. So the new pope gives his first apostolic blessing to the city and to the world. So the election of a new pope isn't done through political campaigning or open nominations as is done in secular government scenarios, but through prayer, inspiration, and secret voting. Over time, as voting continues, a name or two might rise naturally as the favorites, but there's no shortlisted candidates, just the Holy Spirit guiding His church. So it is our prayer that, as Jesus promised, that the gates of hell will not prevail over His church, may the Holy Spirit guide our church leaders to elect sincerely and prayerfully the one whom God divinely appoints to govern His church. And may the church continue to be one, holy, Catholic, and apostolic. Peace be with you.